Hello, you're welcome to Wisdom Television, and this is news review brought to you by us. And you have with me Ayomiko. You know, Ayomiko comes through every time, but then I wouldn't be doing this alone. I have Mufi Folua, and that'll be helping me. Let me put it that way.
Well, it's when she can't do anything without me, yeah. So when you say Ayomiko, you see me.
Guys, don't mind that. It's not possible. You actually see me without her, of course. I can do all things without you.
That's not for this show.
Okay.
Let's just continue.
Okay, thank you very much for staying tuned with us. And if you're here to subscribe to the channel, please do that right now so that you can be up to date when it comes to information and everything going on around us. So, as always, we have some certain stories that made it to the top. For today, they made it to the headlines, and so we have them in various newspaper, of which we'll be talking about them, after which we'll be moving to the analysis in the off-peak section. So please stay tuned with us. On Punch newspaper, we have the following headlines. New Naira notes, confusion deepens as CBN deadline ends today. Polls, VCs and ASU disagree as federal government shuts varsities. Drake ordered to appear in court for XSS detention murder trial. Soldiers destroy high POV shrines, anti-poll posters, DHQ. Buhari orders setting up of transition panel on Valentine's Day. The Vanguard newspaper has the following headlines. Old note will obey Supreme Court's ruling, says federal government. Election must hold at all cost, group insists. Akeredolu drags federal government to court over limitation of cash withdrawal. Samsung donates $3 million for Turkey earthquake relief. We are not contracting election materials to NURTW and others, INEC. Obi supporters stop Oshiomhole from campaigning for Tinubu in Edo State. Appeal court sacks Abacha, reaffirms Sadiq Wali as Kano PDP gubernatorial candidate. Daily Post has the following headlines. Buhari presides over Council of State meeting in Aso Rock. Atiku, Ayu, and Tambuwal silence over fuel scarcity and Naira scarcity are conspirational, Body George. Lack of cash will affect soldiers in remote places, NSA. Your father, Bayero, predicted, pray that I would be the Nigerian president, Atiku tells Emir of Kano. Daily Trust has this headline, Naira scarcity. I have been surviving on 20,000 Naira for 1 week, says Femi Adesina. Thank you very much for staying tuned with us. And now we're moving to the hot picks today, and we'd love you to follow through as we discuss by sharing your opinion in the comments box. Let us know what you feel about all of those news, all of the stories. Let's know your own opinion too, because obviously we are just here to come together, have the news, then we'll tell you all what we feel, trying to analyze, interpret every word and every lexicon, let me put it that way, every lexicon that has made up the story. So as we're doing that, you should also support us by showing some love in the comment section. Thank you very much. So we're starting with this news basis as to disagree as federal government shuts varsities. If you should recall that yesterday we actually we stated in the news that the federal government has asked NUC to make sure that all varsities are shut from February 22 through March 14, just to help the students to be able to participate in the forthcoming election, as well as have them in safety, you know, so they just be under their parents' roof, so that to avoid all stories that touch. And in reaction to that story, the ASU as well as VCs came out in order to disagree the federal government's move. And according to them, in view of the foregoing concerns expressed by the security of staffs, students and proprietaries of the respective institution, the Minister of Education actually said that we should shut down school, but as a result of this, we have decided that it is not the work of the VCs to shut down schools. And if you should recall that over the years, there's not been any time in history where schools have been shut down all in the sake of election. So why are they so anxious? Why Why do they have to say that we should shut down? And if you should recall that ASU has been on strike for close to 8 months, after which they just resumed.
Yeah.
So according to ASU, they are saying that they are just trying to recuperate their institution, try to at least fast track the whole of the learning process. Students that have been at home for a while and are unable to meet up, they're trying to round it off.
Yeah.
The ones in final year should be able to round off before the section runs out, and then they're having exams and other things, and you're not saying that from this particular moment to this particular moment students should be at home just because of election, and this has never happened in the history of Nigerian education.
I think the fact that the federal government actually made a move like that should send a signal to us to be very careful as regards the 2023 general election. It had never happened that students would have to shut down because of election, and it is the federal government itself, I mean the Ministry of Education, the minister, that is saying schools should shut down.
Sure.
These people, if really, okay, actually, if some people says let schools shut down, and the minister is saying no, we don't have any problems as regards ASU and all of the school, students can remain in schools, they will know we are safe. But it was Adamu himself that said schools should shut down.
It was actually directed from the federal government, passed through the Minister of Education.
If the federal government actually passed that suggestion, the minister could have actually said, no, Mr. President, we don't necessarily have to shut down because things are put in place. But he knows that this election is going to be,
and even without them saying it to us, even if they assure us that don't worry, it will be a free affair, even the blind person knows. And if I want to reply ASU, I would just say that it's those who are alive that think of going to school. You know, we can't even, you guys can't curtail the nemesis when it begins to catch up. You know, students are in school, and then there are some certain people that just bubble into school, kill students, or kidnap them, amongst other things they can actually do. The school, ASU, the VC, whatever the organization, the Senate won't be able to curtail all of that.
And aside that, INEC made us to know that more youth actually registered
over 3 million
for PVC for this coming election. So that means more students registered, and while the registration was going on, most of them were at home. You know, that's the strike. So that means most of them, if they would be eligible to vote, they would have to go back home to their own respective local government areas where they actually registered PVC. So if you ask them to remain in school, that means most of them might not be disenfranchised. So and what's the essence of going through the stress of registration, collection of PVC, and at the end of the day they would not be able to vote? That's first. Secondly, they wouldn't even be able to, exercise their own voting rights. And the fact that we don't even want Nigeria to remain this way, we just want to exercise our rights. We want to change things. We want to change power. So with that fact, people need to go home. Students need to go home just to vote. So I think ASU should consider, even if it's just going to be for the presidential election alone,
it has to be the two.
Even if, considering that they are trying to rush the calendar and all of those things, but then it is when somebody is alive, you would remember that you want to rush calendar for them. If something happens to a particular school, God forbid, if some terrorists or non gunmen, if they enter a particular school and they cause havoc in that particular school, you still end up shutting down the school for longer periods than the federal government is asking you to shut down. So to avoid unforeseen circumstances and to avoid students being victims, because at the end of the day, it is still the students that will become victims. Of course. The VC will be in his house. The lecturers too. Lecturers will be in their various houses. It is the students in the school premises that would, they are the vulnerable, they are the ones that are vulnerable. So to avoid all of these things, I feel like ASU should reconsider. They should just allow the students go back to
apparently I do understand the concerns of ASU, the VCs, and the whole board, the Senate board. They are just trying to fast track the whole lot of the educational system that has become so weakened due to strike, among other things. So as you all are trying to make everything work, we need to understand the fact that the safety comes first. It's at the peak of everything. So let's seek for our safety first, the safety of our students, before we now start talking about whether the politicians are hungry, whether they are anxious, whether they are agitated, amongst other things. So ASU should please reconsider their outcry and all of that, and let the students stay at home, at least for the period of the election. Afterwards, will know what to do. So in the other news, we have federal government will obey Supreme Court's ruling against the banning of old Naira notes and moves to vacate order, according to Malami. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, yesterday said while the federal government would obey the Supreme Court ruling, which put on hold the Central Bank of Nigeria demonetization of policy, and the government would take necessary steps in order to set aside the interim order. So according to them, since the announcement of the policy, there has been a lot of acute shortage in the Naira notes, both the old and the new Naira notes, and so it has made life quite easy, not to say hard, for the citizens in order to access the notes, both the new one and the old one. So in a short ruling, the Apex Court actually granted an interim order, of which is temporal, that federal government should not ban the old Naira notes. And right now, federal government has come to say that, okay, now we're not, the deadline, it will still be there, but not February 10 now. It has been extended to February 15, and that also is temporarily. So we just want you all to know that you can still continue spending your old Naira notes as well as with the new Naira notes for the time being. But come February 15 or before then, we'll come to a resolution, we'll compromise and tell you what needs to be done. And I want to believe that the reason federal government is trying to save this is because they still want the reason to which they started the old redesignation to come into fruition. And so they don't want the courts to feel like they are not accepting their ruling. You know, of course, Supreme Court is actually above other courts or other ruling. So they just want to comply in a way, and in the other way, they also want to make you all know that we are not trying to say that we will not, there won't be deadline.
All right.
There's still deadline. So at least anybody that has the old Naira notes by now would have started changing and making sure that there is no Naira notes. So by February 15, all things being equal, you all should have adjusted. All things being equal.
You see, this going back and forth of both the CBN, federal government, and the Supreme Court is just something I don't understand anymore. Because okay, fine, we've accepted. Of course, we can't. What does the citizen have to do? Nothing. We can't.
We just have to follow.
Have to accept whatever they bring to us. But I'm scared. I just hope by February, let's say 12. February 15,
before you go on with that,
you
should recall that Buhari actually came out to say that he understands what we're going through concerning the whole Naira redesign and all of that. And he said that by February 10, he would find a long-lasting solution. And if I should recall, and if I should check my calendar so well, today should be February 10, yeah?
It is.
And anything has not changed, neither on the full scarcity, nor the Naira redesign. And the only thing we can just say is that, okay, fine, we're accepting the ruling of the Supreme Court, and it's still not like we are accepting. February 15 is still there.
Yeah. As regards Buhari's case here, you know, when a government comes out, probably state or at any level, when they come out to say, you guys, don't worry, I'll do this, I'll do that, I usually don't believe. Not because I'm not optimistic or don't trust that government, but until they do it before we can be certain of whatever they are saying.
Okay.
So when Buhari was saying, by February 10, everyone was like, amen, no, before then at least. But what has changed? Nothing. A lot of things have changed. At least banks already shut down. Some people have been killed. A lot of kills here and all of those things. And you know, I was saying the other time that I just hope that by February 13, the Supreme Court would not say, okay, you know, it's supposed the old deadline is supposed to be next tomorrow or 2 days to this time. But with the look of things, in fact, there's no more deadline. And at the end of the day, federal government will say, Supreme Court has stopped.
Hold on, I think we have a call.
All right.
Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. This is Wisdomia Television. You're welcome on News Review. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
I saw the number on the Facebook.
Okay.
For the Yoruba program.
So what's your name and where you're calling from? Do you want to add to the today news?
About the program with I'm calling from my job.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, talking about the
Yes, sir.
for the program we are on.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear everything about the program of
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, like I was saying, I just hope that the Supreme Court does about a few days to the old deadline, they don't come out to say something else. And I don't understand, you know, I was saying earlier that the old going back and forth is just so frustrating. This time we are focusing on taking our monies back to the bank, and this other time we are like, no, they already said we should keep spending. Next tomorrow they will still come out to say the old frustration is already getting to, in fact, that gotten to most Nigerians, and people are already, I don't know, they just, you know, the way we handle frustration differs.
Of course.
People handle it in different ways, and that's why we see videos of people going naked in banks, in public places, just to express their frustration and all those things. It's just not making any sense to me. Basically, it's not. Apparently,
it's obviously not making any sense, and even for the fact that Nigerians have to deal with a lot of things due to the policies. Nigerians have, when they brought the policy to us that, okay, this is the new thing we want you to do, everybody accepted it and we're already adjusting. All things being equal, Nigerians were just about getting used to it, and for the first deadline of which was January 31st. So everybody was like, whatever wants to happen, I need to arrange myself and get things done before January 31st. And just then, federal government decided to extend, and everybody was okay, fine, extension, which is supposed to lapse today. And before then, there's been a lot of hula baloo here and there, this and that, and you just have to be factual. Let us know where you're going to, what you want us to do, how you want us to go about it. Don't confuse Nigeria, because right now, not everybody has the access to all of this information. Those in the rural area, they only hear somebody say it to somebody that knows somebody. Not like they have the direct information, and
it's
so
not like things that gotten any better.
Exactly. Just in the other news we have, and this is moving on to politics, where we have Peter Obi supporters trying to stop Oshiomhole to have his campaign for Tinubu in Edo State. And so before we go into the story of the news, I would like us to see the video to which we have the the whole people, like it was actually talking about Tinubu and all of that, and they were kept shouting Obi. And you know, it shouldn't just be, you will find it interesting if I keep on talking about it. Let's go to the video. Nigerians are funny, so as our political leaders. Everybody is just there for themselves. Okay. This one is there to talk about one person, another one. Anyway, I don't have anything to say about it. I just want you all to, you know, see the video. So you can all justify that and put your comments in the comment box. So we have appeal court sacks Abacha as Kano PDP gubernatorial candidate. The Court of Appeal sitting in Kano has sacked Muhammad Abacha as the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in the state. The court on Friday set aside the judgment of a high court that recognized Abacha as the PDP standard bearer in the state. The court also ordered Sadiq Wali, who was earlier recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission, remain the valid governorship candidate, delivering the anonymous judgment. Justice Usman Musale led three-man panel held that Abacha has no local standing to challenge the primary election that produced Wali, since he never participated in the poll. So I don't think you don't, when you did not even participate in the poll, there is no reason for you to even be contesting for a post. Like I want to believe that it is after the primaries there's procedure to all of these things. It is after primaries that you now know that, okay, this is the person that is representing this particular political party. Then you move to contest with other political parties, isn't it?
Yes.
But right now, I think in Nigeria, you don't even have to be a part of any political party. You can decide tomorrow that, okay, let me go and join PDP. And when you get there, okay, PDP, I have 2 million naira. Alpha, will you give me that post? Because that was just the same thing that happened with Ahmed Lawan and Machina. So all of those things are just working over and over. Was it because Machina's and Lawan's own came out successful that this is now happening again? So I perhaps that Nigerian
these Yoruba chants. Both it
actually belongs to somebody though. Somebody is the rightful owner of that.
Is that chant not going in accordance with what was happened? I mean, you did not participate in the primaries. Okay, this is it. It's just like we want to choose the prefect of a particular school. I'm just going very low so that we want to choose a prefect. We have class ABC. So for class ABC would have a form of election. Whoever emerges as the winner would be the prefect. So B from class B, the contestant from class B won, and then the person already, of course, it's automatic, you are the prefect. And then somebody from class C now says somebody from the staff room that wasn't even part of the old classes will now comes to say, of course I know that I'm not even in any class, I do not belong to any class, and I was not part of the candidates, but then this post is interested. See, the way we handle politics in Nigeria is just it's embarrassing and it's frustrating, because how on earth we can't see. Sometimes I have friends in the US, in the UK. I have a particular friend, when he calls me, he'll be like, Femi, what's up? Have you not heard of this thing? I'll be like, no, I've not heard, thank you. Is it not still your country? He'll be like, this is your Nigeria. Now, wow.
But they were actually ones in Nigeria. It should not make it look like...
Yes, but then why do you think somebody would have to leave his own country to another country? Not for just because most of them are tired, most of them don't even like the conduct of the country. I mean, the thing is that we have constitution. Where is it? We know that our constitution is very, very flexible. However, we should, some things are not even supposed to happen. If actually what happened with Osun State is the same case here, would have said, there's a probability. But there is no probability here. You were not part of the primaries. How? I don't even understand how these people, they see us as, it is whatever we give them, they will take. They don't have a say. It's because we don't have a say.
Okay, let's forget about the judiciary now. Yourself, personally, you know that you are not even worth this seat. Are you supposed to go?
No, see, okay, this, what's his name? This Abacha, when I saw Abacha, I actually thought it was Sonia Abacha. This Mohamed Abacha, or whatever his name is, he might not even be acting on his own will, because if he does not have backups, who got the papa? Nobody. So he wouldn't even have the temerity to come to say, I was not part of the primaries, but then I should. And they even took the case to court. Court still said, hey, you can go ahead, and who does that? I mean, it's just so stupid, because I don't know what these people...
Wait, that's the reason the court decided to sack Abacha and let Wali to go with it.
You don't understand what I'm saying? It was actually Wali that won the primary. How did what's his name, Abacha, how did he get into the picture in the first place?
Maybe they actually contested together.
See, this country is just, you go to school for how many years to study law, you go to the bar, you do a lot of things, and you come back to the public to do this nonsense. I mean, I'm talking to the lawyers, the judges now.
Okay, I don't think I want to be a part of that.
Seriously, I
have cash scarcity. Atiku, Ayu, Tambuwal conspirator says George. According to Bode George, he actually said that for the fact that the People's Democratic Party are not even flinching with the numerary scarcity as well as the full scarcity, that shows that they are conspirators and they have one or two to talk about when it comes to the whole situation. That means they are actually colluding with some certain people just to make all of this happen. So the former People's Democratic Party Deputy National Chairman Chivola Bode George has blamed the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and National Chairman Iyocha Ayu for the silence on the raging full and and cash scarcities. He also expressed surprise over the silence maintained by the campaign director general and Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwa. He said, in all honesty, I cannot decipher the logic of quietness against the cliff edge that Nigeria has been plunged. Our party, the PDP and others, such as Labour Party, SDP, and NNPP, seem to have concurred to the present shenanigans. I wonder what hate, what evil, what madness will propel anyone of sane mind to plunge Nigeria into the present state of hopelessness, annihilation, and abject suffering of the citizenry. So he actually said that it actually puzzles the nationality that the situation of the country right now, somebody that is even contesting for a presidential seat is not even saying anything and feeling like what is happening right now in the country is the best thing or none of his business, so to say. But occasionally or oftentimes I've seen articles actually come out to say one thing or the other. But what he's always saying is that the Naira redesigning is okay, they should go on with it. That of course there are some certain people that are trying to do vote buying, and in some other news I've seen where article actually said that maybe federal government should please extend the deadline, you know, considering the hardship Nigerians are facing. So I don't know what exactly Bode George is expecting article to say.
You know, judging with the way politics works in Nigeria, okay, fine, I would have said he had said the basics. I mean, Atiku had said the basics. All he has to do is just come out to say, okay, federal government or Nigerians or NGO, federal government, please do something about it. But with the way politics work in Nigeria, you know, the oppositions are always opposing each other. That's why they call them opposition parties. Probably Bode George is expecting that Atiku will come out to say, you see, I told you people, APC is not a good party. You see what APC is making you go through. Do you still want to go through these things for the next 4 years? So what's
just trying to say that he's supposed to make use of that. This, like, of course, right from time we all know that when we talk about opposition, like it's only this presidential this year that the opposition are not oppositioning. Do you remember what happened during the Jonathan's regime that Buhari was supposed to come in? They were attacking, you know, dishing it out, giving people reasons to reconsider Jonathan. They were like, all of these people, the Boko Haram issue, the full scarcity, the subsidy, amongst other things. They were even talking about rice as at then. Because as at then, I think rice actually skyrocketed from maybe around 4,000 or something to, what are you saying? Around 4,000 to 7,000 or 7,000 or 7,500. So they're actually talking about that. That's when they were contesting and campaigning that Tinubu was telling us that forget everything about candle generator, go and throw it away. During the time they were campaigning,
you know, as regards that, I think they have more problems to tackle right now. Because, you know, before it used to be PDP, APC, but now Labour Party is shaking them, and they feel like a lot of their supporters, they're really tripping into the Labour Party. So I feel like they have more pressing issues than just going out to say, rice is 50,000, we'll make it 100,000, God forbid, we'll make it so price. I think that is why. But then I was getting what I was saying before you came in that way. You know, these people, I don't know. Maybe Bode George is actually expecting Atiku to use the problems we're experiencing now as their means of
as a leverage for his,
to campaign for himself. But that's not the case. We see anything politics, anything about Nigerian politics. I usually don't like to talk about it because these people, they play games a lot. They play games with, in fact, the most flimsy thing, they will play games with it. You see these people that are saying, but they just that is saying they might actually be conspirators. It's possible. Because judging with how these people are not even against, no. Of
course, maybe they see that, okay, this Naira redesign is a good thing.
If they say that it is a good thing, they will still have something to say now. You know, these people, they will still have something to, you know, to tackle the ruling government just to make us feel like, yes, APC is doing us bad. That kind of way. But however it is for them, I just see, I'm not even concerned about who is talking and who is not talking, or who is, I'm not concerned. The only thing I am worried about right now is for Nigeria to get better, for Nigeria to work. Because we've suffered a lot. Nigerians, sure, you have not suffered for this country. Even me, that I'm sitting right, I've suffered a lot for this country. I just want this country to work. I need it to be better. I need people to stop staying in the slum, to stop sleeping under bridges.
Good housing.
I mean, even if because we can only have less of poor people. We can't eradicate poverty.
Of course.
But then even if we would have poor people in the country, it shouldn't be as much as we do right now.
The people that are poor are obviously more than the ones that are affluent.
Exactly.
So we just need to, at least right now, with the situation of the country, before we want to talk about the class, we'll talk about the upper class, the middle class and lower class. But right now, the people at the middle class, they are nothing but the lower class. Their situation has changed. They are turned around for good. Should I put it that way? So the middle class is just like lower class now, and the lower class is now like for the situation of the country, and then it's actually quite overbearing. Now we can't continue this way. We need a good thing. We need something to start working in the country. So, Bode George, PDP, APC, all of you, just go. I can't even wait for the whole of the election to go, because every day the news is just about PDP. Tinubu pinch me here. It is Peter Obi that injured me. You guys should calm down, please. We need more good news than all of that. And so in the other news, we have INEC has no contracts with NURTW, nor do we have with NATO, according to Okoye. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Festus Okoye, has said that the commission has no contract with the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers or the National Association of Road Transport Owners. He actually made news known while he was in an interview on Thursday. And a lot of reaction has actually trade the reports that the commission has actually reached an agreement with the park management system, of which is led by Musiliu Oluomo, MC Oluomo, Akinsoye, popularly known as MC Oluomo. And so he has actually said that is not the case. But the case is that for the 2023 general election, what they try to do is that they will hire at least 138 vehicles as well as 4,000 boats, just as they've always done in the past. So right now, all of this hire they want to do, and the only thing they did with all of this body is just that they signed a memorandum of understanding that, okay, these people are in your garage or in your park, we need them to work for us during the election, but we want to be able to ascertain the fact that these people will not run away. So at least we have somewhere to trace them to. Do you understand? Like, for example, coming to the company, okay, Wizomia Television, I need Ayomiko for a work, but now I'm not working with Wizomia Television, I'm working with Ayomiko directly. But my point is just that I need to know that this Ayomiko has Adiabere as Okun Nidi accountable to Wiz, so that I can always say that whenever I need anything, any information about Ayomiko, I can always reach out to Wizomia Television. So that is the explanation INEC is giving to us right now. So we would be making use of individual bus owner or car owner or vehicle owner, so to say, and all of them will be accountable to the organization to which they came from, and we can always trace them back to that. So it's not like we're working with the whole body. We've scrutinized and chosen the certain people we'll be working with, but not directly with MC Oluomo once again.
Regardless of that justification, I'm still not buying that idea. I'm still not in support. If you need to work with individuals, you probably should have hired another. Or okay. If really you want to, I'm sure in other Lagos State is not the only state that has park management system. If actually you don't want any problems for yourselves, you could actually go to another state, meet with their park manager or somebody like the way the way MC Oluomo is in Lagos State. You can go to, let's say, Enugu State, hire them. At least you want
like them, it shouldn't be from the same.
You want them to work for Lagos State, but even if those people are supporting Tinubu, Aseko, whoever, I have some other people from another state to come and work. At least to a reasonable extent, you can still convince us that okay, you are capable of handling these people. But these people, even if MC Oluomo did not ask them to do anything in favor of APC, they know. Whoever is working for MC Oluomo, of course, is a supporter of APC too, to a very large extent. So they know themselves. It is just common sense, common knowledge. They can't do anything that would give a negative impact or negative results for their party. That's what I'm saying.
Of course.
So, like, I'm still not buying, regardless of their justification, I'm still not buying the idea. I'm still not in support. They should look for another organization or another means. There's no money. I said they should buy vehicles, but then there's no. Regardless, let them just do something else, not employing these people's services. I mean, it's just not making any sense.
Of course, for the old people that also believe the fact that INEC is neutral when it comes to the election participation, they are non-partisan, and so everybody is obviously expecting the best from INEC. So with this, like I said yesterday, it's just like trying to taint the image of which has been created since the beginning of the whole processing, planning of the election. So to avoid that, I'm also reaching out to INEC and the body to please do something about Lagos State, so as not to bring about some level of disagreement at the end of the election. You know, it is one thing that we have a peaceful election, and aftermath of the election, it's something we all can deal. Look at the example of Osun State, and Osun State, that one does not even have any controversy. And that happened. Yeah. So not to now talk of the one that is already welling up with controversies. So let's just please clear the air. A lot of people want to know why, how, and when. So now that you've told us the reason, we understand your reason, really. We get your point, we get what you're trying to do. But then, if it is possible, you want to do that for Lagos State, go pick somebody from maybe Ogun State, or maybe from the park in other states, maybe just for transport issue and all of that. Don't make it to be in Lagos State. And that is just the only thing we can tell to the INEC. We hope that they consider that. So. And just then we have the last news, and this is coming from Femi Adesina, of which he is sure concluding and, you know, going in line with the CBN directive and all of that. I must commend him. Femi Adesina,
I don't even want to say anything.
And say, according to Femi Adesina, he actually said that he has been spending 20,000 naira in a week.
Really?
And I can't just but believe that, because 20,000 naira is a lot of money. Wow. At least it can fuel his car, it can settle his children, it can do other things. So he spends 20,000 naira in a week. That's quite applaudable. Following the naira scarcity occasioned by the Central Bank of Nigeria currency redesign, the special advisor and media and publicity to the president, Femi Adesina, has revealed that he is affected by the policy. In the article titled "Living on a Shoestring Budget," the presidential spokesman said he has been spending 20,000 naira for a week. According to him, he has been surviving despite the new naira scarcity affecting the country. The Central Bank of Nigeria later secured the 10 days extension of the deadline from the presidential Muhammadu Buhari, and which was now extended to the Supreme ruling, of which we now have it now, that is now February 15. But he said that it has changed nothing, and the fact that he has been spending 20,000 naira for a week and is still spending it is obviously a shoestring. So he actually said when he left Abuja on January 23 on a journey that would take him to Bauchi, Lagos, Senegal, Katsina, Kano, and Jigawa State, the return date was supposed to be January 31 in the evening hours. And ever since then, the terminal dates and the key denomination of the naira is supposed to be legal tender and all of that. So he packs everything he had, every dime, and sent it to the bank. So he had nothing on him. So Muhammadu Buhari, the Central Bank of Nigeria actually later secured another day, of which they now said we should be spending 20,000 naira, but it does not even change. That whatever it is it does, he makes sure that he spends nothing more than 20,000 naira, because obviously he had to reduce his budget, and he can't even get naira because the naira is even scarce. So, my fellow Nigerian, if Femi Adesina can actually do it, I want to believe that you can also do that. Even 20,000 naira is not enough for me in a week. Yes, let me put it a week, because how much is my salary? How much is the whole money that I have in my life? So let's just say 20,000 naira is not even enough for me in a week. Obviously, me, ordinary me, I'm just trying to talk from a normal citizen, not to now talk of Femi Adesina. He's not in the middle class, neither is he in the lower class. He belongs to the upper class. So there are some basic expenses it will run. Airtime, subscription.
Let's even say, you know, it would have a lot of. It might not be on the internet most times, because it might be in meetings, you know, all of those things. Let's pick it from airtime last song. If he wants to recharge, I don't know how he does his recharging, but if he wants to recharge You can't recharge less than 5K because even me gone that what do I have? I know how much I recharge.
Of course.
Not to talk of somebody that has responsibilities. He has a lot of things to do.
Sure.
See, it's like I don't want to start analyzing the okay, let's say we've removed 5,000 naira from 20,000 naira. So it is the remaining 15,000 naira that will feed in
a week. If you had said a day, I would have agreed that okay, a day.
People, you know, it's just been political with us. You know, I say it that they see us as if we don't have sense. As if it is whatever we tell them they will believe. They see us as if these people they don't have a mind of their own, they can't think. Why would you come to tell me that for a whole week, 20K, really? 20K that is not even enough for somebody's breakfast? Fine, I understand you might not be living an extravagant life. But then Nigeria we know how we live. Come down to the lower class. Even somebody that we would consider as not rich will still struggle to spend 20,000 naira in a week. Not to talk of.
You're just trying to justify the whole policy because obviously
it's possible for you to have 20,000 naira on you for a week because even me, it's a lie.
It's not even possible.
It's just like me saying, and for a whole week, it's only 1K I spent for the whole week.
Transport will choke you. Feeding.
You did not
let's even accept that okay, Femi Adesina does not buy food. You know, it's supply. Let's agree that he lives on Wi-Fi. Let's say there is fuel, his children, amongst other things. It's not even possible. It's only if you just want to deceive ourselves. Exactly. You spend 20,000 naira in a day. Oh no, that's not it. So thank you very much for staying tuned with us today. And I think you all can be like Femi Adesina. Try and cut down, slim fit your budget, and make sure that you just have a very little one of which you can even spend 2,000 naira in a week. If you start like that, bit by bit, before you know it, the sky is your starting point. And we've actually brought to the news a lot of things where we'll talk about the ASU and VC disagreeing to the fact that federal government is trying to shut down the institution because of election. We spoke about Peter Obi, people that actually disrupt the rally that Oshiomhole was having for Tinubu. We'll discuss that of the Abacha that was sacked at the court just because he was not even part of the gubernatorial candidate to start with, among other news. Thank you very much for staying tuned with us, and if you're here to subscribe to the channel, please do that and follow every social media platform just so you can be a part and always be informed. And we should do this together. Like I said, you should always drop your opinion in the comments box. We would appreciate, check it over a later word, and you know that's just what keeps us going. Mufi, what do you have to say?
It's weekend. Make sure you
of course, I forgot. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
So
I forgot.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
rest very
well.
Nigeria is very hard. Make sure you rest well tomorrow. You know, just we are preparing for Val now. So whatever gives you, you know, you might have been working for the whole week. You don't have time. So tomorrow, Saturday, you can go to the store, the mall to get gifts for your loved ones. Not necessarily your boyfriend or your partner.
Of
can
course.
Get gifts for workers. You know, just random people.
Just share love.
It's the season of love. Show love to everybody. And be good. Enjoy your weekend. Like seriously, enjoy your weekend.
Just the way we actually said it, if you still need Valentine packages, I can actually rock it for you. I can run something for you. So you can always DM me. You can follow me on Instagram, @Adesina_Yomiko, and you can also check Maria's Gallery on Instagram. That's actually, I'm just helping you, so I can always help you package something for your loved ones at very affordable prices.
And if you don't have love to
you can always send it to us. We'll show access. Send your gifts. Bring it on.
In fact, I would appreciate it. You know, as per se.
It should even come like first time. Somebody should just give me. Oh my god!
Like a random person. It's going to be very amazing.
It's going a long way. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate every time you stood with us from Monday through now. So we'll be meeting next week on News Review, and we do appreciate you. Keep loving Wisdom Here Television, and until next time, love, peace, and happiness.